I slept with East Coast Elite. 5 years later, the prince came to my door. I heard you gave me 2 children. I looked at the crown prince's blackened face and instantly pushed out bottomless pit. Max, I'll keep one, and this one you take away. Max, what about Uncle Goo? He wants to be my daddy too. Me, Mom's gonna be 6 feet under today. I woke up from my bed in a daze to find myself sore and with hickeys all over my arms. The memories of last night came flooding back. Yesterday was Lucas Vincent's birthday, and when I arrived, they were both quite drunk. The girl sitting next to Lucas Vincent was pouring him a drink. Mr. Lou, have a drink. The woman's mushy, whiny voice rang out. When Lucas Vincent saw me coming, he didn't restrain himself even a little bit, as if I, the childhood sweetheart who had engaged in an arranged marriage with him, didn't exist. He took the glass of wine to himself and drank it with gusto. Lucas Vincent's brother, Ethan Shaw, couldn't stand it anymore and said, "Yo-yo, come here and sit down." I nodded and walked over to the seat next to Ethan Shaw. When I passed by Lucas Vincent, he said, "Sit here." In an instant, I was either sitting or not sitting. Lucas Vincent raised his eyes to me and smiled playfully. "What? You don't even listen to Brother Tingshan's words anymore?" With these words, if I didn't sit down again, it would be me who didn't know better. However, I hadn't even sat down for half an hour when something was wrong with the man beside me. He unconsciously collapsed on top of me, his body glowing with heat. I held him up and asked with concern, "Lucas Vincent, what's wrong with you? Is Brother Lou drunk? Shall you quickly help him into the room to let him rest?" A voice said. I nodded and helped Lucas Vincent out of the private room. The temperature on his body was frighteningly high and his whole body hung helplessly on me. The destination that I could reach in a few steps now felt extraordinarily far away. I capably brought Lucas Vincent to the door of the room, and as I swiped my room card, I couldn't help but spit out, "Lucas Vincent, why are you so hot?" When I got to the bedroom, I couldn't wait to throw him on the bed. Because of inertia, I myself fell onto the bed and pressed against his body. Lucas Vincent stifled a grunt and opened his eyes. The air stagnated for a few seconds as I locked eyes with him. I struggled to get up, but Lucas Vincent held me tightly. The next second, he rolled over and pinned me down, pressing sharp kisses to my face. I whimpered out a broken voice, "Lucas Vincent, let go of me. Don't let go." Lucas Vincent concentrated on kissing me until I felt a coolness on my body, and with great effort I lowered my head to realize that I was almost at home plate. I resisted even more violently, but Lucas Vincent effortlessly grabbed my hands with one hand and held them down on top of my head. "Why don't you call Tingshan brother anymore?" Lucas Vincent asked, half drunk and half awake. I opened my mouth to speak, but Lucas Vincent directly blocked my mouth so that I couldn't make a sound and intertwined his lips with mine. As much as I hate to admit it, I really did sleep with Lucas Vincent. I looked at the sleeping man beside me, and for a moment I didn't know what to do. I was 13 years old when I realized I had a crush on Lucas Vincent. But as I got older, it also became clear to me that Lucas Vincent didn't like me. He hated being set up by his parents for everything, including me, the childhood sweetheart, for years. Lucas Vincent's friends would say, "Lou, your daughter-in-law is here," whenever they saw me. This kind of joke can make me blush every time, but Lucas Vincent would only frown unhappily and tell them not to joke. After a few times, everyone knew that Lucas Vincent hated me as a childhood sweetheart, and I, too, buried my fondness for Lucas Vincent in the bottom of my heart. I was afraid that if I showed my love for him, I wouldn't even be able to be friends with him. But that night yesterday shattered the peace that I had tried my best to keep. How will I face Lucas Vincent when he wakes up? Will he be responsible? He will be forced by his parents to marry me, and then from hate me, become disgusted with me. From then on, I'll be mutually disliked, and that's not what I want. Instead of facing Lucas Vincent's wrath, discretion is the better part of valor. So, I ran away. After a month or so of going home and having fun, I collapsed in the hospital with low blood sugar, and then the doctor told me that I was pregnant. When BFF Emily Jiang heard the news, she exploded. "Whose baby are you pregnant with?" "Lucas Vincent's." I snapped. "Does he know?" Emily Jiang asked again. I lowered my head. "No, abort it." No, Emily Jiang hated me so much that she looked bitter. "Do you like Lucas Vincent so much? Did you give birth to his child without even a name? I answered, rubbing my stomach lovingly. It's not like I can't afford it. Besides, with my looks and family background, those who want to be my child's stepfather will be lined up from here to France. What kind of name? Superficial, pattern open. Lucas Vincent face is not bad. My child will certainly look good later. Emily Jeong smiled bitterly as she held her forehead and said, It's hopeless, hopeless romantic. I kept quiet and didn't refute her. I said it in a nice way, but in the end, this is probably the last connection I will have with Lucas. Vincent, I wanted to keep him. When I used to watch those girls who were willing to lose themselves for love, I especially didn't understand, but when it happened to me, I suddenly understood. I told my parents I wanted to go out on my own for a few months. Mom and Dad were so surprised that they didn't even ask me where I was going. I bought a villa in Y City, far away from New York City, and hired some nannies to take care of my daily life at the beginning of the next year. I gave birth to a baby boy and a baby girl. The older one is my brother. I named him Su Yanin. The younger one is the younger sister, named Su Mayan. The two children grew up very quickly, and in the blink of an eye they were 5 years old. I haven't been home in the past 5 years, and Mom and Dad gradually realized that something was wrong. If I hadn't called them every now and then, they would have thought I was tied up in some nook or cranny. Olivia Summers, do you even have parents in your eyes? You haven't been home for a few years and you've grown up, haven't you? My eyes grew red as I listened to my mom lecture me. Why wouldn't I miss them? If you really don't like the Liu family's kid, we can just not marry him. There's no need to go out and leave our family. When I heard everything about Lucas Vincent again, my heart was still beating uncontrollably. Mommy, how is he? I'm a bit curious. After 5 years of running away from my childhood sweetheart, will he ask about me to my mom and dad? You'll come back and see for yourself, won't you? I'm telling you, Olivia Summers, you have to come home this year. Mom gave me an ultimatum. Even if she didn't, I was ready to go back. Before I left, I said goodbye to Dr. Nathan Harper, the doctor who had helped me so much in the past 5 years. Dr. Nathan Harper froze when he heard I was leaving, then smiled and said, Going back to New York City? I nodded. He added, as it happens, I just received a transfer order to New York City. I was a little surprised. Really? I was a bit surprised. Really? I don't know if I was just being paranoid, but I always felt that Dr. Nathan Harper had feelings for me other than Dr. Patient. Dr. Nathan Harper pretended to be relaxed and smiled lightly with a raised eyebrow. Yes, you forgot that my parents are also in New York City, and I'm planning to go back this time without leaving. I then remembered that Dr. Nathan Harper had told me 3 years ago that he would go home every year. So I thought he was going home to visit his parents. The big stone in my heart fell down, and my tone of voice with Dr. Nathan Harper was also much more relaxed. Then we'll go together. Yes, when I got back to New York City. My parents were waiting for me at the airport. The moment they saw me, their eyes were moist and they were busy walking towards me. Mom was crying and laughing at the same time. She didn't know what to say to me. Mom, don't cry. Look what I brought you back. I brought out the 2 little ones behind me and lit them up in front of my parents' eyes. Mom's voice was surprised. Whose kid did you bring back? Hurry up and send them back. I laughed. These are your grandchildren. Hello, Grandma and Grandpa. The 2 Mia Bay said in unison. Mom's face was instantly beaming with joy as she pinched the children's faces and played with them lovingly. You went out and had 2 kids in 5 years. Dad's face, however, changed all of a sudden, ugly as hell. Where's the father? Dad asked again. I was silent for a while when Mom saw Dr. Nathan Harper not far from me. I don't suppose this is your boyfriend. He's such a good-looking guy. I quickly grabbed my mom and explained to her. This is my friend. I was afraid she wouldn't believe me, so I whispered in her ear. He was my lead surgeon when I gave birth, but I couldn't stop my mom from looking at my son-in-law and giving Dr. Nathan Harper a head toto once over. Then she said, Baby girl, Mommy's got your back. When I got home, I told them all about what had happened over the years, half-truths and stories. I said, I had a boyfriend, but he took a plane-out plane crash victim, but I really liked him, so I gave birth to 2 children. The story was a lie. The baby daddy was Lucas Vincent and he was alive and well. I thought Mom and Dad would believe it, but forgot. They grew up watching Lucas Vincent, and my son, Suyanin, resembles Lucas Vincent as a child by 8 points. Mom looked at Minima Lucas Vincent, deliberated for a long time, and opened her mouth to ask, "You and Tingshan, what's going on? Is he bullying you? I will go to him to settle the score." I quickly opened my mouth and said, "Mom, he did not bully me. It was an accident. Besides, the Su family can't afford to raise 2 kids. Your daughter is so good. There are plenty of trophy husbands." Mom followed my thinking, and the more she thought about it, the more it looked like that. "Then Mom, I'll go to the marriage ads for you tomorrow. It's a deal." Even though I refused to use it again and again, my mom was determined to go to the socialite circle to have tea and find her a suitable son-in-law. I just didn't expect my mom to go to marriage ads the next morning, and then in the afternoon. The Beijing circle spread the news that Miss Su disappeared for 5 years, and the first thing she did when she came back was to dump the young master of the Liu family, slowly, but 5 days. The news evolved into Miss Su wearing a cheating scandal for the young master of the Liu family. Then it turned into Su and L. You have 2 children, and then Lucas Vincent showed up outside my house. The first thing he said when we saw each other for 5 years was, "I heard you gave me 2 children." He and I looked at each other, 2 mouths speechless. I looked at Lucas Vincent's face gradually darkened, instantly launched the bottomless pit Su Yanin. "I keep one. This one you take away." Su Yanin nibbled on the chicken leg in his hand, with a tangled face. "I go with this person. Then what about Uncle Gu? He also wants to be my daddy. Me. Baby, if you want to change your mommy, just say so." "Mommy, I'm going to be in the dirt today. Olivia Summers. I'm not even dead yet, and you're taking my son to stepdad?" Lucas Vincent stared at me viciously, gritting his teeth. Those words managed to enrage me. I dragged Su Yanin behind me. "Lucas Vincent, what kind of father are you? My child has nothing to do with you." I was going to say that he at least contributed something, or I wouldn't have gotten 2 cute and well-behaved babies. "Olivia Summers, let's get married." Lucas Vincent's words made my jaw drop. "Marriage? What kind of marriage is that with this scumbag?" "Lucas Vincent, are you okay?" "There are plenty of people who want to marry me. Why should I marry you? Marry me now and you'll get 2 good kids without pain. Lucas Vincent is a good dog. Plenty. Who's that?" "Dr. Nathan Harper." Lucas Vincent moved closer to me and reached around my waist, encircling my entire body in his arms. I sniffed and blushed a little hard. The bottom of my heart just now instantly disappeared, and asked in disbelief, "You're investigating me?" He was the one who didn't marry me in the first place and wanted to avoid suspicion with me, and he is also the one who wants to marry me now and is angry for another man. Lucas Vincent asked instead of answering. "Is there a problem with investigating a fiancé who has been missing for 5 years?" I couldn't control my emotions. My lips turned white and I gritted my teeth. "You are really crazy." "I am crazy." Lucas Vincent laughed in exasperation as he captured my chin in his hand and kissed me ferociously. My lips were raw from his bite, and tears involuntarily flowed out of my eyes. Lucas Vincent tasted salty and he froze before asking, "Olivia Summers, I can't believe you're crying. Are you that unhappy about marrying me?" I didn't respond. I just silently shed tears, my heart bitter and bitter. The man I've loved for so long, who didn't care about me for 5 years. The first time we met after 5 years was an endless questioning, if he is not a little wrong. All the fault is caused by me, obviously from the beginning. This marriage was something he didn't intend to have. Wow, woo 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 woo. Su Yanin, who was on the side, cried out. I hurriedly pushed away the man in front of me to coax the baby. "Be good and don't cry. Mommy will take you to eat delicious food later." "Oh, I don't want him to be my daddy. He bullies mommy." Su Yanin pouted her little lips and jumped into my arms to blow her nose, huffing and puffing. Hearing Max's childish words, the annoyance of just now was swept away in a flash. Surprisingly, I was able to genuinely laugh out loud. Okay. Don't want him to be your daddy. Mommy will take you to play with Uncle Gu tomorrow, okay? Mia Su Mayan was overjoyed to hear that she was going to see Dr. Nathan Harper. She jumped up and ran out from the inner room, pulling my sleeve. "Is it okay to go to Uncle Gu now?" Lucas Vincent's face was ugly when he saw his own daughter liking another man. He stretched out his hand and said unnaturally, Doesn't Xiaoyan like daddy? Su Mayan stepped back in fear and then began to wail. There's a bad uncle, who? This uncle is so scary. I had just finished coaxing Su Yanin and then coaxed Su Mayan, finally. I took the two tired crying children into the house. Before I closed the door, I looked at Lucas Vincent and sighed hopelessly. Lucas Vincent, don't come back, then snapped the door shut. But Lucas Vincent obviously didn't take my words seriously. The next day, I sent the two Mia Bei to kindergarten, and when I went to pick them up after school, I was informed by the kindergarten teacher that their dad had picked them up. I was furious in front of the kindergarten. No, how do you work as teachers? When did I ever say my kids have a father? One of the kindergarten teachers with a round face coyly whispered in defense. It can't all be our fault. Su Yanin looks so much like that man. A living Minimede, my stern gaze went to the source of the voice. Already guessing which son of a bitch had taken my child. I sped to the outside of the Liu family villa, holding a loudspeaker and shouted, Lucas Vincent, the child is 5 years old. UTM know to come to Rob. What have you done? Give me back my two Mia Bei. I am telling you, they're both the apple of my eye. I won't give you any of them. The two MIs heard my voice and came out of the villa shouting, Mommy. My just now fierce and vicious face instantly became gentle and opened my hands to the children. Good boys, go home with Mommy, okay? Su Mayan held a Barbie doll that came from nowhere and turned her head to look at the man behind her. I pinched her face and asked, doesn't little Mayan like Mommy anymore? You have to look at his face when you go home with Mommy. Mommy, I like Mommy. But Daddy promised to buy a princess house for my Barbie doll. Su Mayan's small face was tangled, seemingly pondering how to have both. Su Yanin had a face of hatred. Sister, you're bad. Yesterday you said you like Uncle Goo. Today you are calling on Daddy? Su Mayan buried her head in my arms and retorted, you ate less of the meat that was just shipped over from that whatchamacallit. Still talking about me. Lucas Vincent lowered his head to look at me, his tone deep. And the kids can't be without a father. In the perfect man for the job, there's that deadpan look of taking things for granted again. I stood up and held the hands of the two Mia Bei. Don't worry, I will soon find a new father for the child, and you don't have to rush up to become our family's son-in-law. Seeing that I was angry, Su Mayan and Su Yanin followed me home without a word. What I said to Lucas Vincent was totally in anger. I just didn't expect my mom to move so fast to find a trophy husband. I just had a big fight with Lucas Vincent, and the next morning she called me up to go on a blind date. I was lying in bed and said to my mom, Mom, I just went to Lucas Vincent's house yesterday. How can anyone still want to be a stepdad? Mom lifted the covers off of me and sat down by the window to talk about it. The boss of the Zhou family, he's a good-looking guy. I think he's good. The only son of the Wang family is now in the design business. Mom buys a lot of her clothes from him. And that kid from the Wu family, he's now in the research business. I got tired of hearing this and scratched my scalp, asking, Mom, do you want your daughter to marry out so much? Mom laughed and said, how can that be? All these people have promised to come to the door. I stared in disbelief at my ears. I've heard of these men that my mom is talking about. They are all the sons of the rich and powerful. No, I have 2 children, so how can anyone really want to be a stepdad? Mom was not impressed. Mom was not impressed. I've made it clear that they're all willing to like you very much. Pack up and go on a blind date with Mommy. Why Mom's approach to blind dates is also strange. Other people's families are one by one. She is good. A one-time call 3, the beautiful name. Competition. I am not a leather ball. To compete for what? I looked at the 3 men in front of me. Each one is a dragon and phoenix among people. SOY in the end look at me. I have nothing else but money. The problem is that they also do not lack money. I calmly sipped my coffee and asked, what do you guys see in me? Miss Su, you know. We met when we were kids, but you punched me in the face. The Wang family's designer smiled slightly. It's just the smile why I feel so creepy. I looked at my mom unnaturally. I wasn't told about this either. Auntie brought you to our house to play in elementary school. You accidentally broke the vase and insisted that I broke it, causing me to be beaten up by my father. The boss of the Zhou family laughed meaningfully. Little I don't hold grudges like they do. The Wu family's youngest son raised an eyebrow at me and smiled, but then added, But you wouldn't have forgotten that you forced me to help you with your homework in elementary school, right? Uh, this is not a good person. I tilted my head and whispered to my mom, who was sitting next to me. Are you sure this is about in-laws, not the enemy? Mom also smiled awkwardly. Mom also do not know the atmosphere was so awkward that I could have pulled out a fairy tale castle, and why Mom had seen the world before, so this kind of small matter was not difficult for her at all. I was by her side, listening to her praise the three men and put me down. Finally, she then politely stated that I was not worthy of them and told them to come directly to Seuss to find her if they needed anything. The men nodded and left for work reasons. A matchmaking mixer that made people awkward tension came to an end. I hurriedly greeted the waiter to bring a few desserts and ate a few bites to suppress the shock. I also flirted with my mom and said, "Mom, you have a pretty good eye for finding enemies." Mom didn't mean. Mom just wanted to. My mom's words came to an abrupt end. I looked at her, and her eyes looked toward the coffee shop door. All I see is Lucas Vincent staring at my table with a scowl on his face. He strides towards me, and for some reason, my heart lurches. Lucas Vincent was still in the distance, and his voice came out first. "Olivia Summers, you don't want to be a good father, but you want to find a stepdad for your child. You're really good at it." I saw him look like he wanted to eat me. I was puzzled. Our marriage contract was cancelled long ago. From now on, you cross your wooden bridge. I take the child to go our way. Well, water does not offend the river water. The coffee shop was already quiet, and my voice was so loud that it attracted all the eyes in the store. I listened to the whispers around me. I heard that Miss Sue has given birth to 2 children and now she's looking for men who don't want to be paid to come to her door. Olivia Summers is only how old and she has 2 kids, really? How can such a shameless woman dare to go out? I grew up as a spoiled brat in my family. I didn't know what to do the first time I was confronted with these gossips. Lucas Vincent stood still in front of me, obviously hearing it. And in the next second, he flopped and knelt on the ground. I know I'm the one being a jerk, that's why you left with the baby. I am sorry, I was wronged, I was shocked. This is obviously not Lucas Vincent's style. How could Lucas Vincent do such a stupid thing? While I was puzzled, the people around me were also baffled. Didn't you say that Lu doesn't like Olivia Summers? What's going on here? Olivia Summers is so powerful that she made the young master kneel down. I am afraid she'll be on the news tomorrow, did I? Think Mr. Luck made Olivia Summers angry. It's not like the Sue family can't afford to raise 2 kids. Lu kneeling down to pursue his wife. Well, 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 in bringing up 2 children because no one wants them and I don't know how to behave. Why I was wronged. I was afraid that he would do something big. So I hurriedly pulled him up and left this place. On the way home, the chauffeur drove the car. Lucas Vincent rode in the passenger side, and my mom and I sat in the back seat. My mom's eyes were on me and Lucas Vincent. In the end, I couldn't take it anymore and took the initiative to clear the air, saying, I don't have anything to do with him. My mom didn't believe me and teased me. If he's not related, can he just fall on his knees? Lucas Vincent's eyes flickered, and he admitted his mistake. Auntie, I did something wrong and made you sad, so it's understandable that she blames me. I looked at him and smiled sarcastically. I didn't blame you, and am not sad. Lucas Vincent lowered his eyes dimmed. You used to like me so much. How could you not be sad? A trace of mockery flashed in my eyes. I said in a bad mood, you knew I liked you in the past, and you still treated me like that. Why would I continue to like you? Why should I continue to like you? I really didn't mean it. Stop, you shut up now. I don't want to talk to you, I said leisurely as I relaxed against the back seat and closed my eyes. Suddenly, I heard a voice. Inner voice, get your ass out here. Didn't you say you'd kneel and be done with it? How come you hasn't forgiven me yet, host? The piles and pieces you did to Su before are too numerous to list. Which one of them has wronged you? Then what else can I do to keep her from getting angry? I know you're in a hurry, but don't be in a hurry. We need to have a persistent heart. I'm sure it won't be long before Su will be touched by your sincerity. It was Lucas Vincent's voice. I looked at the driver and my mom. None of them noticed the voice. Am I the only one who can hear it? Host. This side of inner voice suggests that you send your own fortune later to vote your heart. Will Koi worry that I'm taking money to humiliate her? I'm sure you want. Trust me, you'll be fine. Lucas Vincent was conspiring loudly with some unknown inner voice. And I was eavesdropping openly. After getting off the bus, my mom invited Lucas Vincent over for tea. Coincidentally, my dad was also at home. Lucas Vincent bowed to my dad before sitting down. 4 people sat on the hall sofa. He looked at my dad with a sincere gaze. Uncle, I know I've done a lot of things wrong, but I genuinely like you, and am also the biological father of 2 MIAs. At that moment, that mechanical voice sounded again. Host, get to the point. You're chasing your daughter-in-law, not talking business. The point is to give the Liu family to me with both hands. I scoffed. Lucas Vincent wouldn't be that stupid. Lucas Vincent can say yes, but the Luke's parents can say yes. Lucas Vincent immediately stopped his long speech and then added, if you is willing to marry me, everything in the Liu family is yours. Dad raised his eyebrows, somewhat disapproving. Little Liu, I've watched you grow up, and you know that our family isn't short of money either. You're making it sound as if our family is selling their daughter. Lucas Vincent furrowed his brows, and I was expecting him to get angry when I heard the 2 of them whispering again. What am I supposed to do here, touching my intellectual blind spot? You said that everything in the Liu family belongs to the 2 Mia Bice, that you will be good to the 3 of them for the rest of your life, and that you will leave the house if you do anything to mess with Miss Sue. Lucas Vincent said the words in a mechanical voice. My dad nodded in satisfaction but added, Liu, your determined uncle and auntie have met, but the most important thing is still you. It's you's heart you've broken. Lucas Vincent lowered his head guiltily, hiding the strange emotions under his eyes. The mechanical voice spoke pitifully. Alas, in fact, it can't all be blamed on the host. Growing up with mom and dad not around, they only give you money, pushing you to do your best in everything when you were a kid, and pushing you how to do business and maximize your profits when you grow up. Growing up in a world without love, it's normal to be emotionally indifferent. Just so many times out of control are still because of Miss Sue. But why didn't you go after Miss Sue when she left 5 years ago? Yeah, why? I can forgive what happened 5 years ago, but my disappeared for 5 years without hearing. How should I pass this hurdle? It's not something that can be worn away by getting down on your knees and saying a few nice words. Lucas Vincent spilled the beans and told me everything that happened after I left. First. Lucas Vincent thought he was just going somewhere for a few days. Later, when he talked about business, the other company seems to have investigated him, knowing that he's so many years. The only person who appeared around me is the opposite sex. They thought to send a new necklace designed by a well-known foreign designer. The necklace also has a nice name, called Beloved. It occurred to him that I hadn't contacted him for a week. When he called me, it always showed that he was in a call, and when he sent me a text message, it was a red exclamation mark. Lucas Vincent called different numbers. None of them were rejected by me, and finally I just changed the number. I rigorously to let the nanny aunt to me to do phone cards, froze not let Lucas Vincent to find out a little news. He started looking for me, contacting all my best friends around me, and none of them had heard from me, until he asked his best buddy, Ethan Shaw. Ethan Shaw first scolded him, and then said, little you left because your heart was broken by you. People like you don't deserve you. Finally, Ethan Shaw gave Lucas Vincent a letter from me. The content of the letter was that I was very sad, I didn't want to see him, and I hoped that he wouldn't come looking for me, so that he and I could be at peace with each other. God damn it. I didn't write any letter at all. This inner voice asked again, do you trust Ethan Shaw so much? If I was the second in her heart, Ethan Shaw would be the third. The inner voice asked a question. Then what about the first? Of course it's the parents' inner voice. You also strange rigorous Lou. What is the purpose of Ethan Shaw talking to Lucas Vincent like this? After I found out I was pregnant, Ethan Shaw didn't contact me. Lucas Vincent was silent for a long time, raised his head and said with a firm gaze, I will make you forgive me. If Lucas Vincent had gone toe-to-toe with me and said those strong words to stab me, I could have said the same thing back to him. I don't know what to do with Lucas Vincent, who is looking at me so affectionately. All these years. Except for that night, I had never seen such a look in his eyes. I instinctively started to run away. I stood up and headed upstairs, leaving behind the words, "Mom, I'm tired and want to rest." "Why don't you pick up the two Mia bays this afternoon?" Lucas Vincent, realizing that his chance to show off had come, rushed to say. I didn't say anything. I nodded my head lightly and acquiesced. After all, he was the biological father of the children. Or maybe, I faltered. Back in my room, I lay on the big, comfortable bed, my thoughts racing. Why did Ethan Shaw do that? Did Lucas Vincent love me? And the necklace called Beloved. The picture of Lucas Vincent's coffee shop Kneel for Love made the headlines. Former close friends came to ask me for updates, struggling to be at the forefront of eating the news. I tapped my phone to push the news. East Coast elite Kneel for Love Olivia Summers harnesses the power of her husband Lucas Vincent. I was wrong. Bottom comment. I thought Lucas Vincent was a womanizer, so it's because he hasn't met his true love. I am a high school friend of both of them. And Lucas Vincent spoils Olivia Summers. Lucas Vincent brings her desserts from home. And she hasn't missed a day in 3 years. Olivia Summers was sexually molested by a male classmate in junior high school, and the male classmate was beaten up by Lucas Vincent, stoned to death. Green Plum Love. When BFF Emily Jiang saw the news, she immediately came to my house and ate a handful of melons. She ate a snack that her nanny aunt had just made and asked in a slurred voice, "What's the situation between you and Lucas Vincent?" I shook my head. A hint of confusion flashing in my eyes. "I don't know." Emily Jiang lisped and said thoughtfully, "Actually, although I don't really like Lucas Vincent, he's been clean for the past 5 years and hasn't touched a single flower, and he's been good to you. Since you were little, hasn't he?" I was puzzled. "Why do you all say he is good to me?" Emily Jiang was interested. I nodded. "Well, you and the group of netizens who called themselves my classmates." Emily Jiang tells me more. For example, when I fell down in elementary school, Lucas Vincent carried me home, or when I got separated from the group during the spring trip, the teacher told everyone to stay put and get ready to call the police. And Lucas Vincent went back to look for you the way he came, or the harassment incidents in middle school and the nonstop deserts in high school, all kinds of trouble I got into in school. It was Lucas Vincent who helped me out. In fact, he had already infiltrated my life. "You shouldn't have even noticed all this, right?" Emily Jiang exclaimed. I nodded my head in embarrassment. "Emily Jiang, they all say that Lucas Vincent is emotionally indifferent. I think you are the one who is emotionally indifferent. Think about it. Has Lucas Vincent ever been like that to anyone else?" I thought about it seriously, and what Emily Jiang said seems to be right. All of Lucas Vincent's exceptions and favoritism were on me, and I ignored all of them because of the so-called joke. Why didn't I ask him personally what he thought? Wasn't it unfair to Lucas Vincent to presume what he thought 5 years ago, to impose my own opinion on him? Lucas Vincent's mouth, which has been fed with all kinds of delicious food for 10 years, is as if it has been raised for nothing. He's emotionally apathetic, won't speak up, has no mouth. Why couldn't I have been braver and asked him what was on his mind earlier? I hurriedly put on my shoes and left the house, saying before I left, "I am going to see Lucas Vincent." I went to Lou's group, and the manager on duty in the lobby very responsibly led me up to the president's office. When I was in the elevator, I asked him, "How did you know I was looking for your president?" The manager said, "Last time Lucas Vincent left in a hurry. His wallet fell on the floor and my photo fell out." The partner's representative asked who the girl in the photo was. Lucas Vincent said, "It's someone I like. I've seen your picture, it's beautiful." I smiled slightly and thanked him. "Thank you. I'll ask him to give you a raise." The manager led me to the door of Lucas Vincent's office. He was about to knock on the door, but I stopped him and waved him to go ahead. The way Lucas Vincent was working seriously was really fascinating. This look. Just like before, every time I looked at him, most of the time he was just doing his homework, brushing up on his problems, or reading a book. He's smart. He's a fast writer. And every time I've been tricked into letting him do it for me, I knocked on the door and opened it myself into Lucas Vincent's office. Lucas Vincent was surprised. The air was silent. "Why don't you ask me what I'm doing here?" I asked him. Lucas Vincent confessed. I'm afraid of saying the wrong thing. Host, you're so stupid. Women don't like it when a domineering president says something like that. Lucas Vincent. Why should I be formal to my wife? Inner voice relieved. Good. It seems that the book Chasing Wife 10086. You really read it seriously. Lucas Vincent. Of course. I just want to go back and kill the dog that chases after his wife. Lucas Vincent. Of course. I just want to go back and kill the dog that chases after his wife's dislike. I puffed. You also know that what you said before was not pleasing, right? Lucas Vincent nodded silently. Then why did you tell them not to joke when they said I was your little daughter-in-law before? Lucas Vincent's eyes sank slightly. I didn't know what likability was at that time, but I knew that a girl's reputation was the most important thing. I don't want them to think that you are my accessory. You shouldn't be labeled with the word Lucas Vincent. I froze. The 4 words that trapped me deeply were behind Lucas Vincent's unspeakable feelings. My eyes were moist, and I asked him with a sobbing voice, you don't even know if you like me. Why are you so nice to me? Why are you so nice to me? So nice that I, the pampered young lady, took it for granted. Lucas Vincent wiped my tears with his heartbreaking voice. A little prince is meant to spoil a little princess. I cried with joy and jumped into Lucas Vincent's embrace. Lucas Vincent, do you want to be the baby's father? Lucas Vincent was blindsided for a moment, and then asked cautiously and tentatively. What did you say? I cried uncontrollably. I love you. Let's get married. Lucas Vincent's body trembled slightly, excited. Yes, yes, yes. He hugged me tightly and finally said in a trembling voice, you. Thank you for still being willing to give me this chance. After making up with Lucas Vincent, he opened his screen in his circle of friends. Day after day, he bragged that he had a wife and 2 kids. This led to people with bad intentions to get their hands on my 2 kids. Mom and Dad took the 2 kids to an amusement park. And in a flash, the 2 kids were gone, kidnapping the children of the Lou and Sue families, and the kidnappers don't want money. They don't want money, so they want Lucas Vincent's life. I don't know. When Lucas Vincent received the letter from the person who claimed to be the kidnapper, he decided to go to the appointment without hesitation. He didn't want me to go for fear of danger. But I went anyway. I watched from afar as Lucas Vincent walked towards the cliff. At the edge of the cliff stood a man, and next to him were 2 children who were tied up. Their mouths were sealed with adhesive tape, so they couldn't speak. I got a good look at his face with my binoculars, and it was Ethan Shaw. They were saying something, but I couldn't hear them. I moved through a clump of weeds and finally could faintly hear them talking. Ethan Shaw, 5 years ago, and 5 years from now. Why did you do this? Lucas Vincent asked. He was asking why he pretended I gave him that letter, and why he kidnapped his child. Ethan Shaw laughs insanely. Why are you asking me? Since I was a kid I've lived in your light. They all pushed me. You pushed me. No matter how hard I try. I can't keep up with you. Why do you all push me? Why? When I was in school, you were the number 1, and I was the 2nd best in the world, even though my parents forced me to study hard to catch up with you. After I inherited the family business, I still couldn't do as well as you. They forced me to please Olivia Summers, the only daughter in the Sue family. If I marry her, the Sue family will definitely be mine. But Olivia Summers is such a bullying young lady. You're the only one who treats her like a treasure. Lucas Vincent was furious. So you wrote a forged letter? Ethan Shaw laughed. Lucas Vincent, you're the one who's stupid. If you get someone to identify that letter, you'll realize that it wasn't written by Olivia Summers herself. Lucas Vincent. Fight. Win and ill let them both go. Lucas Vincent took off his jacket and fought with Ethan Shaw. In the end, Lucas Vincent narrowly won and held Ethan Shaw down. You lose. Lucas Vincent said. Ethan Shaw suddenly took out a knife and stabbed Lucas Vincent's arm. Lucas Vincent was in pain. Ethan Shaw took the opportunity to break free from his grip and rushed towards Su Yanin and Su Mayan, about to hurt the 2 children. My heart skipped a beat, and I shouted, no. Then I ran towards the place where the children were. Lucas Vincent was 1 step ahead of me and jumped at the 2 children, shielding them with his body and taking a stab. The police came and surrounded Ethan Shaw. I cried and asked, Lucas Vincent, are you stupid? But Lucas Vincent didn't have time to answer me and collapsed in front of me. I looked at my hands full of blood and cried so hard I couldn't catch my breath. Lucas Vincent, don't die. Lucas Vincent was lying in my arms. The doctor was giving him first aid to stop the bleeding. With his last bit of strength, he raised a smile and comforted me. It's okay. Don't cry. Then he closed his eyes. Inside the hospital room, I stood by Lucas Vincent's bedside. Standing beside me was Dr. Nathan Harper, whom I had not seen for a long time. He said, "Don't worry. He's just in a coma. He'll wake up later." My heart was at ease, and I thanked Dr. Nathan Harper. Dr. Nathan Harper suddenly said to me, "My intuition tells me that you are hiding someone in your heart." And so far my intuition is correct. Dr. Nathan Harper said such obvious words. It seems my previous guess was right. I stared unblinkingly at Lucas Vincent's miserable face and said, "After I left 5 years ago, I knew that I would never like anyone else as much as I liked Lucas Vincent. Whine on. I'm sorry about the feelings." A conversation between adults, point blank. Dr. Nathan Harper asked, "Are we still friends?" I said, "Of course." Lucas Vincent woke up right after Dr. Nathan Harper left. The first moment he woke up, he asked me, "Whine on. You've never even called me by such an intimate name." I poured him a glass of warm water to moisten his throat. Seeing that he was still so alive with flying jealousy, my hanging heart was completely relieved. I smiled and said, "What do you want to hear me call? I'll scream it for you. After all, we have a long life ahead of us." Lucas Vincent smiled back. That's right. End of text. Lucas Vincent's perspective in kindergarten. There was a little girl in a pink princess dress in the class. My mom and dad were always busy, so my grandpa came to pick me up from kindergarten. I asked Grandpa who the little girl was. Grandpa said, "The little princess of the Sioux family." Grandpa taught me to be nice to girls, to give in to them, and not to bully them. When someone made Olivia Summers cry, I stepped up and coaxed the little princess. Strangely enough, I was able to help this little princess who could not be helped by her teachers. Olivia Summers stopped her tears and asked me with red eyes, "Are you a little prince?" I nodded. Olivia Summers was very happy and said, "The little prince is to protect the princess." Olivia Summers became my little follower, and she would call me Brother Tingshan. When I was in elementary school, my grandfather passed away and I was sad for a long time, but when Grandpa went to his grave, Mom and Dad didn't come back in time because of work. It was the first time I hated my mom and dad so much. After Grandpa left, I never felt happy. Mom and Dad only cared about my studies. They never cared about my mood. Olivia Summers went to elementary school, middle school, high school, and even college with me. She was always happy. She laughed a lot and brought smiles to everyone. Because of Olivia Summers saying, "A little prince is meant to protect a princess," I have always been nice to her, letting her go and spoiling her. All my friends ask me if I like Olivia Summers. I didn't know what liking was. No one ever told me. All I knew was that I was Olivia Summers' little prince and I was supposed to be nice to her. Later, there were rumors that Olivia Summers was my daughter-in-law, my child bride. I put a stop to their jokes. Reputation is important to a girl, and Olivia Summers is a wonderful girl who doesn't deserve to be caught up in such gossip. Olivia Summers is not my child bride or my daughter-in-law, my heel. She doesn't deserve to be labeled as mine. She's just her own. I put a stop to these jokes day in and day out. Until my 23rd birthday, Mom and Dad told me to marry Olivia Summers, analyzing the pros and cons with me if I married her. The Sioux family would be mine from now on. I was annoyed. My relationship with Olivia Summers shouldn't be all about the pros and cons. My friends made jokes about being a little daughter-in-law again, and once again I put a stop to their jokes. By the time Olivia Summers arrived, I was somewhat unconscious and had no idea what I had done. When I woke up the next day, I was the only one left in the large room, and on the white sheets, there was blood. The company had an urgent matter to be dealt with in a hurry. I rushed back to the company, and then went abroad to talk about business. After a break, my partner gave me a necklace called Beloved. I took one look at the necklace and knew it would look great on Olivia Summers. When I tried to reach Olivia Summers, I found that she was always on the phone and her WeChat messages were full of red exclamation marks. I asked all my friends to contact her, but to no avail. Until I asked on Ethan's shot, he said all those things about Olivia Summers hating me and pulled out the letter Olivia Summers wrote. Ethan Shaw played nice with Olivia Summers, and I didn't question the authenticity of that letter, thinking that Olivia Summers really didn't want to see me. I thought that the little prince couldn't protect the little princess all the time. She had to get out of that castle sometime. She had to leave the little prince sometime. I often looked at the photos of Olivia Summers taken at the university. 5 years later, Olivia Summers came back. And I heard she had 2 children with her. The boys look like my mini-me. The first thing Olivia Summers did when she got back was marriage ads. I was so mad. I used all my connections to find out what had happened to her over the years. Dr. Nathan Harper, the OBGYN, was the one who performed Olivia Summers' section. He's been around Olivia Summers a lot. I thought it wouldn't be so bad if the princess kept living in the castle I built for her, branded with my name. For the first time, I had such a dangerous thought. When I arrived outside Sue's cottage, Olivia Summers seemed to be trying to clear the air with me, and my oldest son, Sue Banquetan, said that Dr. Nathan Harper wanted to be his daddy. Dude, my whole body got cranky and said sharp, ugly things. I made 1 and 2 little ones cry. Olivia Summers told me to stop, but how was that possible? The next day, I took my 2 babies to my own house. I coaxed them, entertained them, bribed them with their favorite things, and told them that I was their daddy. Olivia Summers soon killed my house, and once again I was emotionally cranky, and once again I was at odds with her. Just as I was getting desperate, a mechanical voice popped into my head. He called me host. He said he was the wife-chasing inner voice, tasked with getting me to fulfill romantic redemption, second chance romance. I listened to his rambling about the perfect wife-chasing laws, and the wife-chasing 10086 count that suddenly appeared in my hand. I crammed it all night, not realizing it would come in handy the next day. I got the tip that Olivia Summers was going on a blind date. When I arrived at the coffee shop, I watched the 3 men leave one after another. 3 men at once. And all the rules of wife hunting have been forgotten, and all they can say is that they're repulsive. Once again, Olivia Summers and I are at loggerheads, but the gossip around me made my heart ache for her. And sanity returned. The inner voice told me to get down on my knees. Without hesitation, I kneeled before her. I did what inner voice told me to do, and it worked. Yo-Yo didn't stop me from going near the 2 babies anymore. Later on, Yo-Yo came to my office to see me. I was a bit nervous and didn't know what to say. She asked me a lot of questions and I answered according to my heart. Then Yo-Yo asked me if I wanted to be the father of my children. She also said she loved me, and she said, "Let's get married." The little princess finally belonged to her little prince, but it didn't last long. Someone kidnapped my 2 little hearts. It was Ethan Shaw. I was so surprised. Ethan Shaw and I played well together, and he played especially well with Yo-Yo. How could he kidnap the fruit of 2 good friends? I never knew Ethan Shaw had so much pain in his heart. I am a lot like him, except that I have light, and he doesn't. He lived in my light, in the smiles of people he hated. Suddenly I felt sorry for him, so when the police asked me if I wanted to settle the case, I talked to Yo-Yo and finally agreed, but he still had to go to jail. When I was hospitalized, Dr. Nathan Harper came in. I kept my eyes closed, pretending to be asleep, and the 2 of them talked for a long time. I couldn't understand how they could talk so much. Doesn't Dr. Nathan Harper have a wife of his own? You called him Huainan and said she'd be friends with him. God damn it. Be friends my ass. Extra the night of the wedding. I heard that mechanical voice again. IT has detected that the heroine's love value is up to 100. Inner voice is automatically unbound. I asked Lucas Vincent if someone taught him how to chase his wife. Only then did he honestly explain. The 2 Mia Bay always love to stick to me. Even at night, they want to hug me to sleep. Lucas Vincent couldn't stand it anymore and sent them to my parents every now and then, until this day. I came home from work. I saw the 2 little ones angry. "Mommy is ours. You can't keep sending us to our grandparents." Su Yanin was reasoning with Lucas Vincent. Su Mine chimed in. "That's right," Lucas Vincent said. "Mommy is mine." Then he managed to make the 2 Mia Bay cry. I laughed and went over to coax them. Ethan Shaw has a family visitation period. His parents wish they never had a son, and all the relatives shunned him. In the end, I asked Lucas Vincent to go with me. Ethan Shaw looked much older. His chin and beard were in disarray. I took the prison cell phone. Brother Xiao Yuan, I've never actually hated you, because he had countless chances to kill those two kids, but he didn't. There was still a glimmer of goodness in him. Ethan Shaw laughed with red eyes and said harshly, "Don't be so hypocritical. I hate you guys the most. Pity who?" Lucas Vincent frowned in displeasure. Ethan Shaw exploded. "Lucas Vincent, do you think that if you come to see me and understand me, I will be grateful to you? What I wanted, what I didn't want, what I was made to want, you got it all with ease. Well, you're the one I hate most in my life, seeing that I couldn't talk to him." I dragged Lucas Vincent away. Point to Mia by 6th birthday. It was a big party this time. Dr. Nathan Harper, who was the lead surgeon in delivering the babies, of course, also came. Lucas Vincent's face was so dark. I smiled and coaxed him. "Smile more. I'll promise you anything tonight, okay?" Lucas Vincent whispered in my ear. "I want 3 times." I still blushed when Lucas Vincent said this kind of thing in a serious manner. "Even though we are an old married couple." "Mommy, why are you blushing?" Sue Mayan ran over to me for a hug. Lucas Vincent squatted down and picked him up and said to Sue Mayan, "Mommy is SHY. Su Yanin had a look of knowing everything and finally said, "Daddy must be bullying Mommy." Lucas Vincent rubbed his nose and denied. "Daddy didn't."